It's important to hold, talk to, and touch babies. Especially young children are absorbing in those first few years of life all of these varieties of experience. And we know that their brains, the circuitry in their brains, the architecture of their brains, are really built sort of from the ground up. And these early relationships of interacting with their mother and their father, being touched, being spoken to, being read to, all of these experiences fundamentally affect the growth and the maturation of circuitry, of connections within the brain that then last a lifetime. So the child's ability to learn, to develop relationships, to respond to the world in a variety of ways are really built from these early experiences of what we think of as kind of serve and return, of this two-way street between a parent and a baby or a young child. The question of how much can be redeemed in a baby's life later on is a somewhat complicated question. On the one hand, we really do know from the findings in neuroscience and child development over the last 20 or 30 years that there are what we call critical periods. There are points in development where children's brains are more susceptible to the effect of the experiences that they're having. And these are kind of like open windows in which experiences can come in and positively affect their development that then influence their well-being and health for the remainder of their life. So there definitely are these early critical and sensitive periods where the effect of the environment, the effect of nurturing relationships are more profound than they are for the remainder of life. Having said that, however, I think we're also learning from neuroscience and fields like epigenetics that it's not that all is lost if something doesn't happen early in life, or if there's an absence of supportive, nurturing relationships for a period of time in early life. We're learning, for example, that new neurons and new connections between neurons in the brain can be developed on into adult life, even into midlife and beyond. So it's sort of a two-part message of the importance of those early years and the importance of sort of getting it right from the start. But on the other hand, I think a message of hope for those who haven't had those experiences, that all is not lost and that we can regain some of those experiences later in life. I think adoption is a very good example. We know from a study that's being done now in children who were raised in Romanian orphanages, who were very deprived and hardly attended to at all in the first few years of life, that there's a tremendous rebound, a tremendous catching up that happens when those children are placed into foster care. So it's in a sense never too late for these nurturing relationships to have some remedial effect on the development and well-being of children. But we also know that the earlier the better those experiences can be had, even though the later experiences can help catch up with the things that have been lost in early life.